Making a concept album is everything but easy. Making a normal album is hard enough, but connecting all of the songs in it through a concept, that's next level stuff. Many amazing bands have made concept albums and done a pretty good job with it. Some examples would be Pink Floyd with The Wall, David Bowie with Ziggy Stardust, and Green Day with American Idiot. However, even though some of the best bands ever have tried, few have dominated the concept as much as The Who. If you know anything about the history of music, then you probably know that in the 60s, bands were constantly trying to get to the level of the Beatles, and The Who was one of the only bands that was able to get really close, and depending on who you ask, they even surpassed them. And though that's definitely debatable, The Who's dominance over concept albums is nothing but a fact. For example, 1967's The Who's Sell Out was the first concept album they released. Even though the connections between the songs are very subtle, this and the release of Sgt. Pepper in that same year were a clear milestone for modern albums. But for The Who, this was only the beginning, because in 1969, the band released what probably is the best and most prolific concept album ever made, Tommy. And if that's not enough, a few years later, they released an album that didn't reach the same heights, but is still a great example of the potential behind concept albums, 1973's Quadrophenia. Of course, they were also known for releasing normal albums, but it definitely seems like the band was at its best when they had a story to tell or a narrative to follow. And this trilogy works not only as the foundation of concept albums, but also as an example of the greatness behind the masterminds of The Who.